Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so that whenever we release a video at the Jamaica Young Police channel, you'll be the first to receive the same. Remember to share the video with your friend, your mama, papa, girlfriend, boyfriend, and your side chick and side man. Yes, and post a comment below, even just to post and say, I am here to show your appreciation of the work that we are doing here at the Jamaica Young Police channel. And thanks for being a part of the movement. So, moving on. We at the Jamaica Young Police channel, we hate criminals with a passion. So here's one of them. This guy's name is Javon Pinnock. Yeah, aka Froggy. Have a distinct scar on the left side of his face, and him eye go all the way down to him cheekbone. And you know, more or less is a Jamaican do that, you know, telephone cut. I don't know how them come by that thing for, you know, to scar people face like that, and that it's just awful, but terrible people. So this man that you're looking at, his name is Javon Pinnock, aka Froggy. Yeah, Froggy them call him on the street, and he's wanted in New York, in Queens, New York, for the murder of Javon Jamison, a Jamaican youth them called Blingers. Yes, and Blingers was killed almost 2 years ago by this man and another man named Christopher King. Christopher King is in custody in New York, awaiting trial for the murder of Jamison. So we are appealing, we are begging, beseeching you Jamaican people in Jamaica and the diaspora, wherever you see this man, to inform the police, whether it's 119 or 911, and let them know that this man is wanted in New York for the murder of Javon Jamison, so that this man can be placed in custody or go straight to the departure home where he belongs. And that's justice. And we say that because we hate criminals with a passion, because there was no reason for this man to kill Blingers, because Blingers was not a threat to him at the time. It was murder, clear murder. Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video. My career as a police officer, the only kind of police officer I normally hate are the thieving, corrupt police officers that I despise. I have said it before and I will say it again without apology. I despise corrupt police officers even more than I do criminals. Why? And when I say corrupt police officers, I'm talking about the thieves, the one them extort people, shake them down and all these things. You understand? And these police officers who go around and rob people, them drugs, and I hate them with a passion. Reason being, you are supposed to be the person who uphold the law, but instead of upholding the law, you are breaking the law, and then you want people to respect you and not to call a thief. And that's the reason why most ex-police officers who are thieves are even police officers right now in the Jamaica Constabulary Force 8 years truly. Yes, because I was even talking with a police officer the other day, and he said that police officer, he was showing him a video and said, you ever watch a channel? I said, oh, a police boy, they are informer, man. A boy, they are bad mind boy. The man said, well, a good police. I said, oh, him not like policeman, a thief. Him not like policeman. Boy, bad mind and him thing always a fight against police, a call man thief. And him know man if you work hard, sometime of a man if you hustle. And man I say, I mean hustle. That if you're a thief, him not gonna like you. And him I say, oh, no, I said the boy, because the boy they are informer. The man I said, no, you're police, you can't be police and you not like informer. You're police, you have to love informer. So these are the people them that the Jamaican people have to deal with. So we're gonna tell about 4 of them, you understand? But when police officers, they are criminals, come commit a crime, it is expected. They operate outside the boundary of the law and decency. So when criminals commit crime, it is expected, but not police officer. But when a police officer, someone sworn to uphold justice, decide to betray that sacred oath, it is not only treasonous to the badge, it is a direct attack on the very foundation of trust, decency, honesty, and public safety. And most importantly, ethics. These criminal cops don't just soil their own names. They tarnish the integrity of the entire police force. They cast a long, dark shadow over hard-working and dedicated officers who put their lives on the line every single day to protect and serve with honor. The actions of a few rotten officers endanger the lives of the decent ones, poison community relations, and give ammunition to those who want to defund, discredit, or dismantle law enforcement. To truly understand the gravity of this betrayal, let me share with you the story of 4 detectives from the Narcotics Division, officers who should have been on the front lines of fighting against drug trafficking, but instead choose to enrich themselves through deception, theft, and criminal enterprise. These 4 detectives were a part of an elite unit within the Narcotics Division, entrusted with investigating dangerous drug networks, executing high-risk operations, and removing illicit substance from our streets. But rather than focusing on their sworn duties, they began to hijack the very system they were meant to protect. Instead of seizing drugs and property and properly processing them into evidence, these men stole portions of narcotics, heroin, cocaine, and ganja, and either sold them back to the same criminals or used intermediaries to peddle them in the very communities they were meant to safeguard. Yes, that's what them do, you understand? The man them, instead of the man them do what them supposed to do as police officer, them do the opposite. Criminals. Yeah, so, these are real criminal police. You understand? Some people say, but they are not convicted. When every man is innocent until proven guilty under the law. And we do believe that. So these police officers, they would raid stash houses, pocket cash, manipulate evidence, books, falsify reports, all while wearing the badge and pretending to be defenders of law and order. Worse yet, some of these detectives resort to planting evidence on suspects, fabricating confessions, and even threatening innocent people in order to maintain their criminal operations and protect their ill-gotten gains. These actions didn't just break the law, they shattered lives, sending innocent men to prison and letting actual drug traffickers roam free, if they could afford to pay a bribe. Eventually, the Internal Affairs Branch and the Bureau of Special Investigation caught wind of their criminal activities. What followed was a painstaking operation involving surveillance, wiretaps, and confidential informants. After months of gathering evidence, the 4 detectives were arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including perverting the course of justice, possession of illegal drugs with intent to distribute, armed robbery, conspiracy, and official misconduct. This downfall was a bittersweet moment for law enforcement and community. On one hand, justice was being served. On the other, it was a grim reminder that wolves sometimes wear uniforms of sheepdogs. But let us not be fooled, because let this be a lesson to everyone. Whether you are in law enforcement or not, the badge is not a license to commit a crime. It's a symbol of trust, courage, sacrifice, and duty. And those who violate it should face the full wrath of the law, not just to punish them, but to protect the dignity of many honest officers who continue to uphold the highest standard of service. I will never stop speaking out against criminal cops because they are true enemies within. They are the termites rotting the pillars of justice from the inside. And as long as I have a voice, I will use it to expose, denounce, and educate. Because the future of law enforcement and the safety of our communities depend on it. So these are officers that them said that they're elite detectives. But we say elite no more. Firearms and narcotics detectives charged with under the anti-gang law in an explosive police scandal. In a stunning turn of events that has rocked the upper echelon of Jamaican law enforcement, 4 members of the so-called elite firearms and narcotics investigation division have been formally charged with a string of serious criminal offences, including forgery, attempting to pervert the course of justice, and most damning of all, breaches of the anti-gang legislation. Remember, when you're in a gang, it has to be more than one person conspire to commit a crime. These officers weren't just any rank and file cops. They were members of a specialized division tasked with removing illegal firearms and narcotics from the streets of Jamaica, the very foundation of organized criminal enterprise in Jamaica. FND has historically played a crucial role in dismantling drugs and gun trafficking network, even recently boasting about a major bust involving 30 firearms and over 100 rounds of ammunition seized at a warehouse on Marcus Garvey Drive. But now the irony is bittersweet as it is sobering. The enforcers have become the accused, and the very law they once upheld are now being used to bring them to justice. The investigation conducted by the Inspectorate of Professional Standards Oversight Bureau, IPROB, of the Jamaica Constabulary Force has revealed what is suspected to be a coordinated criminal enterprise operating from within the police force itself, a betrayal to serve that's undermined public trust in the badge. Attorney at Law Christopher Townsend, who represent the embattled officers, confirmed that they were charged and taken into custody earlier this week and are expected to appear in court by Friday. At the core of the charges is a 2023 incident involving a complainant who was reportedly under investigation for attempting to export multiple suspicious parcels overseas. But according to Townsend, while the officers now face charges under the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organization Act, popularly known as the Anti-Gang Law, there is no claim that they are affiliated with any of the Jamaican traditional criminal syndicate. So while the gang charges, Townsend explained that under the expanded scope of the anti-gang legislation, 3 or more individuals acting in concert to commit serious crimes can legally constitute a criminal organization, even in the absence of tattoos and signs or garrison affiliation. In a sense, the laws target criminal behavior, not just membership in street gangs. That threshold have been met in this case. The gang legislation is much wider than the usual or everyday definition of what a gang is, Townsend explained, a tone of frustration in his voice. Still, the defense attorney raised alarms over the investigative process, particularly the lack of early disclosure provided to his legal team. He claimed that despite repeated requests for clarity, law enforcement and prosecutors withheld vital information about the specific charges until the moment of formal indictment. When he asked for clear and better particulars, everybody was tight-lipped. Townsend said, "They must get beyond this way of thinking that we must hold the information to our breast and release it at some future date." He added that while national security and operational integrity are important in sensitive investigations, the right of the accused to be informed of the charges against them in a timely manner is a cornerstone of due process. So you are telling me that a file complete enough to go to the Director of Public Prosecutions for a ruling can't be summarized enough to provide basic disclosures to the defense? That's unacceptable, he said. This scandal sent shockwaves through a police force already grappling with strained community relations, political pressure, and ever-present spectre of corruption. While Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake has pushed. Yes, big thanks to everyone who reached out via the channel's telephone number to show interest in subscribing to our new platform. One that builds to speak truth to power and impact every single person living in America and around the world. It doesn't matter if you are black, white, yellow, green, blue or red. This message is for all people who believe in freedom, truth and justice. Yes. As we have said before, the name of the new channel speaks for itself. United we win, divided we lose. And you're looking at, most people say that they cannot find it and all kind of things. So now, getting the feedback from most of you people, in which, we can't even count the amount of people that reach out to us and leave message. We cannot find it. You have to understand that my voice, this voice is not a voice that has been loved by the powers that be. Because when you speak truth, they try to censor you in every way. But guess what? We're not going to stop, So, united we win, divided we lose. That's not just a slogan. It's a fact. It's a call to rise above fear and stop playing it safe, while the system quietly chews up and spit us out. Even you. Cowards might think they are staying out of trouble by staying silent, but in the end, we just say it runs there spiritually, mentally, financially, and politically. So here's the truth. It is better to live a life and die as a free, honest, decent, honorable, and truthful human being than to exist as an obedient, broken slave, begging for crumbs from a table that was never built for you. For over 400 years, our ancestors, we are taught black people, cried out to a God. They were taught to fear, kneeling and praying to a man in the sky, while their bodies were chained and their minds conditioned. That didn't free them. What did? Knowledge, courage, unity. Men like Taki, who the same maroons in Jamaica kill, chop off his head and put on a pike. Taki is the one why the United States of America exists today as a republic, but they won't teach the white people in America. A black man who took on the British Empire and won. And it's time we walk that same path any bolder. This new channel is not for the weak-hearted, the lukewarm, or for the comfortably numbed. It is for those who know who they are, God's children, defined by nature, fearless by choice. If that's you, welcome on. To the rest, stay away. We don't need friends who are secretly enemies. We don't need deadweight doubters or deceivers. When we say enemies, we're talking about everything that stands against the truth. Lies, manipulation, division, cowardice, and blind obedience. No more lies, no more games, no more silence. This channel is the battleground for truth, and we are not backing down. How many times can they kill us once? Millions of our ancestors has died for this, for the little freedom that we're enjoying. God created every man equal, but some think that they're superior. And those who think that they're superior, just look, not one of them have ever been the fastest one in the world. Their genes are recessive. Our genes are dominant. So please, subscribe to the channel. We know that we are being sabotaged and tampered by the powers that be. But as time goes by, the truth will reveal. For reform and professionalism, this case threatens to erode public confidence and give ammunition to anti-police activists, in which I do not buy into that, because these are just 4 criminal-minded police officers. So those who claim the system is riddled with bad apples protected by institutional silence, I don't support that notion either. The Jamaican public has long cried out for justice, transparency and integrity in law enforcement. And while most officers serve with honor, cases like these deepen suspicions and damage the very credibility needed to tackle crime, especially in a nation plagued with high murder rates, gang violence and organized crime. As this case moves to court, the nation will be watching closely. Will the law treat these officers like gangsters they allegedly behave like, or will the whole culture of cover-up and legal technicalities find its way to protect them? One thing is certain, this is a defining moment for the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Whether it chooses to purge its ranks or to protect its own, will signal to every citizen whether true reform is real or just another line in a press release. So we're going to go in depth, tell you about these thieving detectives, yes, because you know that we hate thieving police just like how we hate criminals, and we don't make excuse for criminals at all. Yeah, so some people have said that this deep suspicion and damage the very credibility needed to tackle crime, especially in a nation plagued by high murder rate, gang violence and organized crime. As this case moves to court, the nation will be watching closely. So one thing is certain, that this is a defining moment for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we know that for a fact. Now, do you understand why corrupt, thieving police officers despise me? Yeah man, Chris Porter, with every fiber of their dishonest beings. It is because I speak the truth without fear or favor, malice or ill will, and the truth exposes the filth they have been hiding under their uniforms for years. These individuals are not just bad apples, they are the rotten core of a tree that need pruning before it poisons the entire orchard. Let's not beat around the bush. Yes, the woman at the center of the original investigation is no saint. There's overwhelming evidence to suggest that she's a drug dealer, one of many who help to flood our streets with poison, destroy families and fuel gang violence across the island. But as wicked as her actions may be, there is something even more despicable when the very people assigned to dismantle her operation are doing worse behind closed doors. These so-called elite detectives from the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division were not merely turning a blind eye to crime. They were active participants in a criminal enterprise, abusing their badges, manipulating the system, and treating the law like a doormat while pretending to stand on the moral high ground. They are not police officers. They are parasites in uniform, feeding off the suffering of others and feeding lies to the public, all while enjoying the salary, respect and authority that comes with the badge. The difference between them and the drug dealer they arrested is she never swore an oath to protect and serve. They did. That's why what they did is not just criminal, it's treason against the people of Jamaica. These detectives are the embodiment and betrayal. They are wolves in police clothing, preying on both the guilty and the innocent. And yet, they still expect loyalty, silence, and solidarity from decent, hard-working officers who are out there putting their lives on the line every day. That's why they hate someone like me. Because I refuse to stay silent. I refuse to pretend that the badge makes you a good man. No, my loyalty isn't to any organization. It is to the truth, to justice, to the people of Jamaica, and to the honest officers who deserve better colleagues than these frauds and criminal collaborators. It's disgraceful, it's sickening, and it's a shame that some still try to defend these officers simply because they wear the same uniform. Wearing a uniform does not make you honorable. What it do in that uniform is what defines you. We cannot and must not continue to allow these kinds of officers to operate unchecked, hiding behind their rank, while committing acts that undermine the very foundation of law enforcement. If Jamaica is ever going to rid of crime and corruption, we must first clean our house and start by calling out, charging and jailing criminal cops who dare to think they are above the law. So, no, I am not surprised they don't like me. I am not here to win popularity contests with criminals in uniform. I am here to shine light so bright that the cockroaches scattered. And as long as I have breath in my body and knowledge in my mind, I will continue to speak out against every single one of them who tarnishes the badge and betray the people. In the end, justice will prevail, and history will remember who stood up and stayed silent. So, in the case, that has sent shockwave through Jamaica law enforcement community, 4 officers from the Jamaica Constabulary Force charged under the country tough anti-gang legislation were formally granted bail on Thursday, April 10, 2025. The accused, Sergeant James Dawes, Corporal Tamela Anderson, and Constable Shane Givens and Lakare Barrett, all attached to the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division, a unit once regarded as one of the most elite and trusted arms of the police force. Each officers were granted bail in the amount of $2 million, with 1 or 4 sureties required, and strict conditions imposed, including surrender of all travel documents to prevent any attempt to flee the jurisdiction. The next court date is scheduled for May 21st. The accused appear before the Supreme Court, marking a critical step in what has become one of the most high-profile police corruption case in recent Jamaican history. So background, a 3-year internal investigation yield explosive allegations. This case is a result of a meticulous 3-year investigation conducted by the Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau, IPROB, the internal watchdog responsible for maintaining integrity and accountability within the JCF. At the heart of the charges is a September 2023 incident in which the 4 officers reportedly detained a woman they alleged was involved in transnational drug trafficking. The woman, however, was held in custody for 4 days without being charged, a clear violation of her constitutional rights. Alarm bells rang when IPROB got wind of the situation, and what began as a review of procedural misconduct quickly escalated into something far more sinister. The woman was eventually released following a question and answer session, but it was what happened next that exposed the depth of the corruption. According to investigative findings, the woman's mother was allegedly contacted by a third party who informed her or daughter's situation and suggested that a payment be made in exchange for the charges being dropped. This alleged shakedown prompted a deeper probe that unearthed a web of criminal activity involving the very officers sworn to uphold justice. A file was completed, evidence collected was deemed substantial enough for a matter to be referred to the Director of Public Prosecutions. After reviewing the case file, the DPP ruled that the 4 officers should be charged not only with forgery and attempting to pervert the course of justice, but also being a part of a criminal organization under Jamaica's Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organization Act, commonly known as the Anti-Gang Law. This law allows for individuals to be prosecuted as gang members if 3 or more persons are found to be operating in concert to carry out criminal activities, regardless of whether they are part of a recognized street gang. In this case, the allegation is that the officers form a coordinated criminal ring within the police force itself, an organization. This accusation that strike at the heart of institutional integrity. So all 4 officers are being represented by noted defense attorney Christopher Townsend. This case represents more than just a legal battle. It's a test of the JCF credibility, already battered by decades of allegation of corruption and misconduct. But no, we can say that based on this outcome of this investigation, it shows that the Jamaica Constabulary Force has no credibility problem anymore. They have shattered all of that, because having these cops arrested and charged for corruption and charging them under the anti-gang law, this goes to show you that this Commissioner of Police and the police force is no longer supporting or cuddling criminals. The greatest threat to law enforcement doesn't come from gunmen on the corner or the don in the garrison. It often comes from within. When police officers are sworn to protect and serve, decide instead to rob, deceive, and collaborate with criminals, they become 1,000 times more dangerous than the average lawbreaker. Why? Because they wear the shield of legitimacy while committing acts of treason against the people they vow to defend. That is why I will never be silent. That is why I will never befriend to cover for criminal cops. And that is exactly why they hate me. Because I am not afraid to expose them, name, and call them what they truly are: parasites in uniform, disgrace to the profession, and enemies of justice. Let this be clear. Jamaica will never truly be free from crime until criminal elements hiding behind the badges are purged, prosecuted, and imprisoned. The badge is not a shield from accountability. It should be a symbol of honor, sacrifice, and integrity. And I will continue to defend the ideal, even if I stand alone. And I have no problem with that. I hope this case is tried in earnest and make sure that all of these police officers are sent to prison for at least 20 years, just like black man. These are the criminals. You have to send a message, strong message, that we are not tolerating criminal police officers anymore. This is not when the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization was in power, when they protect thieving police officers like Derek Cowboy Knight, Donovan Ox O'Connor, and I can go on, the Harry Bungles, the Renita Adams, the Power Rangers, and they're all thieves, and I could go on and on. Have yourself a beautiful day. This is a new day for Jamaica. Jamaica Young Police Channel. Out.